Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be showing you how to transform this wooden DIY heart from Dollar Tree. And I came up with two different ideas, very different. One is a Disney Marvel themed inspired Valentine's Day piece of decor. And then the second one, I was heavily inspired by Mardi Gras coming up, but with a French twist. So, I hope you enjoy both of these two ideas, and let's go ahead and get into the video. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the tag and the twine at the top. And I hauled in a couple videos ago this Spider-Man inspired satin pillowcase that I thought was really ugly but screamed Spider-Man to me. So I thought I was going to go ahead and use it in this project. Basically, I just flipped the pillowcase inside out and cut along the seams, so I separated it into basically one long piece of fabric. Once I unfolded the long piece of fabric, I placed that right over top the wooden piece of heart, which is underneath this fabric, and you can't see it, but it's underneath. And I basically just cut a big enough piece to cover the entire face of the wooden heart. Now I'm going to use my favorite Fabri-Tac glue and place this all over the heart, and I smoothed it out a little bit before I place the fabric on top, and then I place the smaller piece of fabric that we just cut right over top this. And I had to smooth it out a little bit. As you can see, there's some bumps and lumps here and there, but as it dried, those did go away. But just try to smooth out the fabric as best as you possibly can. I think at some point I used the Fabri-Tac glue bottle, here it is, to just continue to smooth the lumps and the bumps, and just to make sure that there is a really good adherence with the wood and the fabric. And you can either cut the edges off, or you can go ahead and just glue the edges to the very back side of the heart, which is what I did. Now I'm going to take some Model Magic in red, and I am also using these cookie cutters in heart shapes that I got from Michael's at a really good discount. I think it was $2. And I ended up going with the two of the smallest sizes, and I'm going to go ahead and roll out the Model Magic to, I want to say like 1/2 inch thickness, and then use the cookie cutters to cut out the individual hearts. And I did this maybe about 3 or 4 or 5 times with the Model Magic until I basically used up the entire bit of Model Magic that was in that bag. Now it's time to paint. I pulled out some corals, some really pretty pinks and reds, and I basically just painted the hearts, a mixture of all of the colors pulled together. And this is totally up to you, but I was kind of going off of a particular color scheme, but completely up to you what you color the hearts. Now, the star of the show is this Dollar Tree Spider-Man Valentine's Day card, which really is what inspired me to do this craft. So basically, I am going to cut out Spider-Man himself and separating him from the sky and the city line. And I went ahead and I also kept, and you'll see why, the words swing into action. So try, if you're going to do the same project, just try not to cut into the wording, just cut out Spider-Man, and you'll see what I do later with the words. So once you cut them out, I'm going to take the Tim Holtz Distress ink in black soot and just ink around the edges very carefully, trying not to get too much of the black ink on the actual image itself. Now I'm going to take the stretchy cord from Michaels, and I cut 9 separate strands, and you're going to do 3 strands into 3 groups, and basically just do a braid, a very tight braid all the way down for each of the 3 groups. Now to attach the spider web to Spider-Man himself, I'm just going to turn him over and add a little tiny dab of hot glue, hold that in place until it dries, and then you flip them over and you can literally decide where you want these Spider-Man webbings to go. So it's really up to you. You'll see in a moment exactly how I put them, but essentially you're just going to hot glue it down and just tighten it to the other side. Once you have your webbing in place, I am using this foam mounting tape from Dollar Tree, really great stuff, and just liberally applying it all over the backside of Spider-Man and cutting smaller pieces of the foam bits to fit those little tinier spots where his hands are and his feet and things like that. So once that's done, I added a little bit of glue on the back side of the foam tape just to make sure it was extra secure. And then for the little bit of spider web hanging at the top, I'm just going to do the same thing as I did before, tighten it, and then glue it to the back side. Now for the words that we saved from earlier, you're just going to very carefully cut them out as best as you possibly can, and also adhere the foam tape to the back side of them, and you'll see exactly how I put them onto the heart itself. But before we glue the words into place, I am going to just quickly hot glue the hearts down onto the board, and you can see that some of them I am layering together, others I just have by themselves, and then that little tiny spider web with the spider in the center of the pink heart, I actually cut that out from the card. So essentially I demolished that Valentine's Day card because I just love to use up every little piece I possibly can. So this is just a great way, a great craft to do when you have really pretty cards and you don't necessarily want to gift the card and you just want to turn it into a really pretty piece of decor. Now I'm just using this leftover piece of red gingham. I think this was from last year's Valentine's Day Dollar Tree ribbon, and I just am going to create a small loop to attach to the very back using some hot glue, and this is what we're going to use to hang this piece. And my mom is a huge Spider-Man fan, so I created this craft specifically for her in mind, and I just know she's going to absolutely love it. And then just to finish off the back, because I see that the back is kind of not the prettiest to look at, I went ahead and I covered that with some felt, and you could choose whatever color felt. I think I ended up going with like a magenta red type color felt, and just to kind of finish off the back. Now for the beginning of the second project, I am literally doing the same exact steps, so cutting off the tag, and then I'm going to take this really pretty French-ish kind of inspired fabric. I love it. It was in my stash and it's been screaming at me to use it, so I decided why not? Let's go ahead and create a Valentine's Day craft with it. So as you can see here, using Fabri-Tac once again, smoothing that down, and then make sure that you just smooth out that fabric as best as you possibly can to make sure that the fabric and the wood are completely adhered with one another. And then again, you can either cut around the edges of the heart to get rid of the extra fabric, or in this case, I just decided to basically tuck all of the extra fabric onto the back and then cut any extra flaps that were lingering. You want to try to make it as flat as you possibly can, and I just love this method because it covered the edges, so I didn't have to worry about covering that as well. So this is just a really great thing to do, and then you can just cover up all of those really ugly edges by just putting a piece of felt on the back. Look how deliciously crisp that looks. I love it. Now I'm taking 4 of these little wooden blocks from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to glue 2 to the front, 2 to the back, and to the left you're going to see this little heart pedestal that is also from Dollar Tree in their Valentine's Day section, and I'm basically going to glue this heart and make it stand up properly on this heart stand. So I had in my stash these two Christmas ornaments from a couple years ago. These are from Hobby Lobby, and I have had them hidden away because I was so scared of them breaking, and I thought, why not use them in this project? They are so perfectly French and Mardi Gras inspired, so here we go. I decided to first, on one side of the heart, use all of these beautifully colored flowers from Dollar Tree. So all these roses, they have the best selection right now for springtime. All these gorgeous corals and the oranges and the light pinks and the pinks and the blues. It's just stunning. So basically I just am staying within the coral color family, and I'm going to go from dark to light only on one side of the heart. And then as you glue the roses down, just make sure that you kind of fluff them up a bit just to keep them nice and voluptuous. Next, I am taking this Dollar Tree pearl garland. I love it. It's so beautiful and dainty and just absolutely perfect. So I ended up just gluing one of the strands, or one end of the strand, down, and then I just let it fall wherever it wanted to on top of the roses. I didn't glue it down into every little place, but you'll see that later I add a couple more smaller delicate flowers on top of it just to make sure it doesn't fall out of place. But I did still want it to have some movement, so that's why I didn't want to glue it all the way down. After I glue the masks down, I am now taking these smaller roses, and like I said, I'm going to just place them into areas right on top of where the pearl garland is hanging, just to make sure that it doesn't fall out of place. And I just love how delicate adding the smaller flowers were, and absolutely perfect. Next, I'm taking the same fabric that we used to cover the heart, and I basically just cut strips of it. And I cut those strips into smaller pieces and hot glued it into a loop, and just kind of tuck that into different areas of where the roses are here and there. You can totally opt out of this step, but I just loved the additional texture it provided, and especially because the threads off of the fabric started to come off and unravel, and I love the way that that ended up looking. So now you're going to just adhere the heart onto your pedestal, and all I did is I just used some hot glue to make sure that it held in place. And then I ended up, like I said, covering the back with a really pretty piece of coral felt just to hide all of those not so pretty edges. And then to cover the back even further, I ended up using some of the leftover roses I had to put some at the base of the back. I had some leftover fringe from my Madame Leota tutorial, which I will go ahead and put a link to it here. And essentially you're just going to hot glue this to your pedestal and then trim off the excess. And voila, you have two very unique Valentine's Day inspired ideas. And I just loved the juxtaposition between just the very fun Valentine's Day, Spider-Man inspired one, and then the very rich French Mardi Gras inspired one that just makes me think of New Orleans Square and makes me so incredibly happy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this craft, and I hope you guys try it out for yourselves. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed those two ideas and I hope you give them a try. I love picking these DIY pieces up from Dollar Tree because the amount of ideas that you can come up with are completely endless, which I love. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell for notifications for future content to come. I really appreciate you guys subscribing to my channel. So if you have already subscribed, thank you so much. And if you are new around here, I hope you like this video enough to subscribe to my channel. I have some more DIYs that are coming very soon and just in the process of getting those filmed and uploaded very soon. So until next time, take care and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.